Hello everyone, so this is going to be part 1 of the Rust Player's Guide. This video is going to be focusing on what you do when you first get into a server, and the first thing we're going to want to do is going to harvest resources. So we're going to talk about how you do that, strategies of how to keep safe while you're collecting resources, and then we're going to also talk a little bit about what each resource is used for, and which ones you should be looking at the most, and what are important in the game. So when we first join the server, we're going to get this window called the sleeping window. Now this one is going to say you were sleeping, press any key to wake up. So like the window says, we're just going to press any button. I usually just press the space bar, so I can press that, and now my character's awake and we can control him in the game. So when you look around you, you're going to see you're on the beach side. There's going to be lots of random stuff around you. You're going to have trees, you're going to have rocks, you're going to have little pebbles, you're going to have the ocean, you're going to have grass, trees, rocks, all that kind of stuff again. You know, like it's just a very repetitive landscape. The biggest thing in this game is resources. So right now we're going to teach you how to collect a basic resource. So when you spawn, you're going to spawn with 2 items in your inventory. Now if you look at the bottom of the screen, there are 6 slots here. Now I can access each one of these slots with the number keys. So we have numbers 1 through 6 for 6 slots. You spawn with 2 items. The 2 items are the rock and the torch. Now, if I want to access the rock and the torch, they're in slots 1 and 2. So I can press the number 1, and I get the rock. Number 2, and I get the torch. So we're not going to use the torch right now. We're going to use the rock. Now, the rock is used for basic resource collecting. So we're going to take our rock out, and we're going to walk up to this tree, and we're going to hold down the left mouse button. Now, holding this down is going to activate the harvesting action. Now, what I'm doing, as you notice, is I'm moving around the tree while I'm harvesting. This is allowing me to see around me and see where people are. So now I can see if there's anyone looking at me, anyone waiting for me to collect before they can kill me, and this generally just keeps me safe. So one thing you'll notice is on the bottom right of the screen where you have your health bar, mine's at 51, your drink bar, mine's at 87, and your hunger bar, mine's at 79. These bars are very important. This is the basics of survival in Rust. Health bar, you need to keep an eye on that. As soon as you drop below 50-ish, your coloring of your screen will start to change, so you'll quickly know about that. Then we have our drinking and our food are just really important. We don't want to die of dehydration. We don't want to die of starvation. Right above this menu, we have the gathering. So now, every time I collect a little bit of resources, it'll tell me I've collected wood, plus 10. So I've collected 10 wood each hit. This is standard for a rock on a vanilla server. So I'm just going to keep collecting, and I'll be right back. So now I've finished basically collecting wood. So now we're going to focus on another resource. Now we're going to look for rocks. These rocks that I'm looking for are the small black rocks. They're about half the height of your character. And these rocks carry stones, sulfur ore, and metal ore. There is one right there. So I'm going to run over to this rock with my rock. And I'm just going to hit it the same way we hit the tree. And I'm going to move around it in a circle just so I can see if anyone's around. I'm on a very quiet server, so we're not going to see anyone. But this is just a precaution you should always take, just because you never know if someone's online and behind you. So as you can see in the bottom right, I am collecting stones, sulfur ore, and metal ore. May even get some high quality metal, but it's pretty unlikely, especially with a rock. Got a little bit of lag there. I'm going to finish harvesting this rock, and then I'll be right back. So now I've finished harvesting the rock, and I have quite a few resources. So I'm going to open my inventory. To do this, we just click the Tab button. So I've clicked Tab, and now we get our inventory and crafting menu. Now this menu is incredibly important in Rust. So on our left here, we have our player character, and we have 6 slots for clothing and armor. Doesn't matter where you put your items. You don't have to put your boots in the bottom slot or anything like that. Everything just kind of fits in a random slot. Here we have our toolbar. This is where our active items are, and that is where our rock and our torch are. Then we have our main inventory. Now this is where most of our items will be stored before we have our own house. So here I have my wood, my metal ore, my stones, and my sulfur ore. So each of these resources is very important and has its own uses in Rust. Wood is used for building basic structures and basic items. Metal ore is used for more advanced items, tools, weapons, housing, doors, and other items. Stones are actually extremely important, and I cannot stress this enough. Stones are the house that you're going to be aiming for. You're going to want a stone house. Stone houses are relatively cheap to make, and they're very, very tough against raiders. It'll take about 2 C4 to break a stone wall. And then we have sulfur ore. Sulfur ore is very important for mid to late game players. You're going to want to save up any sulfur ore you find though, because it is still going to be very, very useful once you have your own house and you're settled in. You can use sulfur ore in a furnace, get sulfur from it, and you can craft things like C4 and other important items. So, this video is mainly just focusing on the basic resources and how to collect them. The next video is going to be focusing on crafting. And crafting is really important in Rust. Crafting is what gets you through the day. We're going to learn how to craft weapons, we're going to learn how to craft tools, we're going to learn how to craft items to start building, and then in the next video we're probably going to talk about building itself, because that is extremely important in Rust. And one thing I do want to show you guys before I go is what I call easy resources. Now, easy resources are these little pebbles you'll find on the ground. I'm going to try to look for one right now, and I'll be right back when I find one. Oh, actually, here is one right here. So, these are little pebbles you find on the ground, and these are actually extremely useful for beginning players. If you hover over it with your mouse, you're going to see a pickup symbol, which is the hand picking up something, and you're going to see a name of a resource. Now, this one says metal ore. This means when I click E to pickup button is E, I'm going to get 50 metal ore. 50 metal ore would take 5 to 10 hits with a rock on a stone. I just saved myself a lot of time. And now I have 50 more of that resource that I had so little of before. Now that is all I can cover right now for resources, because that's really the basics. We'll get into more advanced resources and crafting, building, weapons, and tons more in later videos. I hope you guys will subscribe and support it. Thanks a lot, guys.